Obviously, extremely happy that our guys got rewarded with a win because we've actually, outside of that Stetson game, which that was an embarrassment, we've played pretty good for a while. And I tried to tell you guys, I don't like excuses, especially after a loss. But not having Jermaine's becoming the heartbeat of our team, and not having him in that Florida game really, really hurt us. Obviously, at Tennessee, we played hard enough and well enough to win. We just couldn't score. We went 19 possessions with an 8-point lead and scored 4 free throws in the second half. You're not going to win when you do that on offense. But I'm really happy for 3 guys because they're unbelievably committed to what I ask them to do. They're great teammates. They got courage, and they've got a desire to compete. And there's 3 guys that make great plays for us today, and that's Jermaine, T.J. Moss, and Justin Minaya. Seeing Justin make shots, you couple that with his competitive edge, and it's the way the game should be played. It's rewarding when good things happen to guys like Justin. But a lot of credit to our guys that we can obviously play a team as good as Kentucky, and even though we got down, have the courage to keep fighting and win.
Coach, just here in the back, just
David, I didn't know you went to TV.
Well, yeah, someone has to step up for David.
Change your hairdo too.
Yeah, everything. Lost the beard too. Yeah, I don't know if you noticed that through the camera, but
you dress better.
Thank you. In terms of just seeing the basket go in at the end, you talk about the guys being rewarded. Just I don't know how quickly you could process emotions. Just what was going through your mind, and just how joyful in that moment were you to see that ball go in, and then to see the celebration that ensued inside the arena and on the floor.
I mean, obviously, the ball goes in, you feel good. I'm not. You got 15 more to play, man. It's hard to get. I get this new wave of how we do things where we over celebrate everything. I get it. That's not who I am. I try to dance, but I'm such a bad dancer. My wife won't dance with me, so it'd probably be a bad thing for me to put on some phony dance routine. But I'm really happy for our guys. I've told you guys all year we've got some really good kids. I've been searching for this team to have a personality. We've in difficult moments we've gotten really, really quiet. Jermaine is learning how to play college basketball. His feelings were hurt in November because it's harder than he thought it was going to be, and then the ball wasn't going in for him, so he got a little timid and passive. And leading into Christmas, he was really starting to play better, and he's practicing better. And coming off of Christmas, I probably should have started him at Tennessee. I probably should have, because he's been that good and so committed to what we're doing. So as a coach, when kids work hard, you want them to be rewarded, because that doesn't – if you keep losing, it breaks their spirit. And that's the hardest thing to manage as a coach. It's not hard to manage when you got guys that don't compete to win. That's easy to manage. When guys are laying it on the line for you in practice and in games, but the ball just won't go in. Like we almost lost today because we couldn't make a free throw coming down the stretch. We had 2 bad defensive possessions, but we missed a second of 2 free throws, and then A.J. missed 2, so we missed 4 free throws in the last 50 seconds of the game. That forced us to make that Hail Mary. But I'm really happy for our guys and happy for Jermaine, because he could have joined the club and stayed quiet and passive, and he's refused to do that. He's taking ownership of our team. As a coach, I wish I probably should have given him more ownership a little sooner than I did.
Coach, you had some trouble offensively finding a groove, and then suddenly, I think it was after the under 12, things started to click. What kind of adjustments did you have to make there?
Early in the game, we missed a bunch of shots, but we were also quick shooting, trying to beat shot blockers by quick shooting the ball. I think Nick Richards getting in foul trouble helped us, obviously. It takes away a a tremendous presence at the rim on offense and defense. I think we were a little bit too juiced up to start the game, so we were trying to play off. Ever since I made the decision, it's something else that we've tried to change. Ever since I made the decision to change the lineup, we're playing differently than we've ever played here before. We've committed to play differently on offense. So the guys have been trying to learn a different structure than what we practiced September and October. But I think as the game wore on, we settled down. We were better with our decision making rather than going too soon in the possession. But I think the zone threw them off. It created some open court opportunities, and then we came out of that. They took the 2-point lead, and we ran a play I put in just for this game. And Mike Kotsar drives it, kicks, and Justin makes a three. So as a coach, you feel good when good things happen to good kids.
Hi, Frank. John Calipari has talked all year about his team having fight and toughness.
They got it.
They wanted to come out and hit you guys first and be the aggressor. You're familiar with his teams, his style of play. How would you compare this particular team to the ones that he's had in the past?
He's got the toughest point guard in the country in Ashton Higgins. So when your point guard is tough as nails, the rest of your team resembles that behind them. And that's who Ashton is. And then quickly, I told Nick Richards after the game, the one beauty, because we all worry about the top 10 player out of high school and the one and done and the greatness and blah, 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 all that nonsense that we all talk about because certain people cover high school basketball, so they got to promote the one and dones in college. I told Nick Richards, I respect the heck out of him. You know why? Because that's the beauty of college basketball. You see kids grow. You see them get better. Nick Richards is so much better than he was as a freshman. It's not even close. So when you have a point guard that's so tough and a center that has committed himself to working, to earning the right to play, it makes your team real good. And now quickly he's taken a step up as a player from where he was at last year. The young man Maxey can really score the basketball. EJ's taking a step up. I like that team. I really do. I was watching them on film, and sometimes you get overwhelmed with their individual talent. As I was watching this team, I was like, I'm not going to say I was overwhelmed, but I was impressed with the unity that those kids play with. And it's I've said this 100 times. He doesn't get the credit he deserves for the job he does with those kids every single year.
Frank, you obviously recruited Jermaine, who was a pretty prolific scorer coming out of high school. Is this the kind of Jermaine you expected to see when you recruited him, kind of getting to the rim, knocking down shots, and how nice is it to see his game, I guess, rounding into form?
Yeah, Colin. I mean, there's very few freshmen that jump into college basketball, and it's boom from day one. I was challenging Michael Beasley before his first college game because he was falling asleep in our scouting report meeting. So I treated him like a kindergarten kid. I made him stand up, watch scouting report standing up while everybody else sat down. When the meeting ended, we're walking on the court, and he puts his arm around me. He says, I know you're mad at me. I got to get better at that. I said, Mike, you came here to get better. Well, when I took him out of the game the next day, he had 40 points, 21 rebounds. And he came by me, he says, I got you, man, I got you. So what I'm saying is there's some one-and-done guys that have that unbelievable ability, but there's other guys that they have to make the adjustment to college basketball. It's hard, man. This isn't easy. John hasn't built what he's built at Kentucky because it's easy. But there's so many other coaches at other schools that aren't popular like Kentucky. It's the same way. It takes time. And when you're doing it with nothing but freshmen at the other guard spots and first-year guys, it makes it even harder. So he's really been coming on since before Christmas, and I'm really happy for him because we needed that personality on our team.
Frank, what offensive changes? You talked about you're playing offense differently. Which one? What is that specifically? And did you think you could get 81 points tonight with only getting 5 from AJ and Mike?
I don't worry about that kind of stuff. Like Mike and AJ. Heck, AJ has scored a basket in 6 weeks. So I don't go into games worried about, can we get to this number if this guy does. I don't worry about that. I worry about making sure that the right guys are taking shots. And but we've kind of changed our offensive structure to make it a little easier for the two young freshmen, who Jalen, by the way, has really been playing well, and he got in deep foul trouble today. But to make things a little easier for those freshmen when they come in, and since I'm playing more guard perimeter guys, instead of going to a 3-out, 2-in, we're going to a 4-out, 1-in. So the floor spacing is different. How to attack the screens that we're setting. I love screening big on small or small on big. When you play 4 perimeter guys, it's very little big on small screens. So a lot of the screens are guard on guard, so they're switchable. So you got to teach different cuts, different angles, different reads. And I think we've gotten better. I really do. And I think that fits this team a lot better than the stuff we were doing when the season started. That's whenever I went to Justin and Keyshawn in the starting lineup. Like, I think that was a UMass game. Is that when I did that? That week leading into that game.
Clemson, I think, is Keyshawn.
I started Keyshawn at UMass, didn't I?
His first game back.
Okay, so whenever I made that switch in the lineup, that's when we committed and we started changing stuff around. Got better memory than me.
Frank, you guys struggled to put the ball in the basket in the first half. Second half, much better. What changed? And the last shot of the game was, how much of that was an improvisation thing? And
Well, we did what I asked our guys to do offensively. I told Jermaine, I haven't seen them in a man-to-man press all year, so it's going to be some kind of a zone press. So just get open somewhere. Just don't go to the baseline to get open. And then I told the shooters to go to the corners, and I told Keyshawn Bryant, run up and ball screen for Jermaine. If you see that whoever's matching with you gets above you, then run out of there, and we're throwing it to you at the half-court line, and then you go make a play. But Jermaine was going to go get that shot. He just wasn't going to be denied. And we're lucky because that's a heave. But the right guy took the shot, dead center. The ball bounced our way for a change. You know how many layups and dinks we missed at Tennessee? Like, easy. And we just kind of like the first half here today. I thought we got some really good shots in the first half, and they didn't go down for us. And part of that was, I think our guys were offensively were playing too fast. Trying to, in that new stuff I said that we're trying to run, trying to attack Kentucky. When their defense is in the open court, go. But when their defense is set, trying to attack Kentucky too early in the possession. So now Nick Richards, E.J. Montgomery, they're too big. They're too good at shot blocking. Ashton Hagans is too good on the ball. It's really hard to beat them early in the clock. I think we made that adjustment in the second half. We made some plays in the open court, which gave us some life. And then I thought Jermaine, he makes a 3. I think we cut it to like 7, and he makes a 3 off a ball screen where they go underneath, and that really put us to a different place from a confidence standpoint.
You kind of already touched on it, but Jalen has played in 3 straight games, and tonight he went 3 for 4 from the field. What's he shown you to earn those minutes, and kind of what does he give you when he's in there?
Personality, man. I've learned this in my life. When guys commit to doing what you're asking them to do, you stay in it with them. And those are the guys you put out there. And he's made a decision that he's going to play as hard as he can and learn and grow. And I've tried one of the reasons I changed what we're doing offensively was to kind of simplify things for him so he can be better for us. I think he's going to keep getting better. I think like all freshmen, he went through a stretch in November. You know, that's the part, man. All these kids come into college and they think that, oh, who do we play? Oh, they're no good. It's like playing in a bad AAU game or a bad high school game. We got this one. Every freshman goes through it. And then they go out there and they get their tails kicked and nothing works for them. And then I don't play guys that don't do things the right way. Other coaches want to let people do things. That's on them. I don't criticize people. I'm not going to play people that refuse to do what I ask them to do. They want to do their own thing. I'm not playing them. And when they do what I ask them to do, I turn them loose. I'm really simple that way. And he's completely bought in. And he's playing in practice with an aggression. He's going after that ball. We got to keep him on the court. He can't go out there and commit the fouls he committed. I probably should have played him a little more late in the second half, but I thought we had real good flow with who we had, so I didn't want to disrupt that.
That seemed to be T.J. Moss's best half of his career, that second half. What's been different about him? He even got rid of the turnover or two that you usually talk about and had 3 assists, no turnovers.
Yeah, even at Tennessee, I thought he had that one turnover where just threw it out of bounds. I don't know what he was doing, but I thought he played really well. TJ is connected to me. When I say, TJ, we're doing this, he doesn't question. He goes and he does it. When I say, TJ, run this play, he knows what we're running. And that's why today, he made, I don't know if you guys picked up on it, but when we got back in the game, he had a lot to do with the plays he made on offense and defense. And made a big-time assist to Keyshawn Bryant. He scored 2 baskets and something that I've been drilling our guards to do in the open court. He did it. He scored back-to-back, 1 3-point play, 1 just a basket. That's why I don't play guys I like. There's a lot of guys I like that I've never put in games. Nathan Nelson, I love that kid. I'm not putting him in the game because I like him. Now, truth be told, he probably deserves to play over some other people. But that's something I got to manage. TJ does what I ask him to do. He's got courage. He's got personality. He's mean like a rattlesnake. And him and Jermaine are giving us courage, something that I've been begging for this team to have. And so I'm really happy for him. But like I just told them in the locker room, guess what? Got to do this again in 2 days, man. It can't be any celebrating. It can't be any more or any less because we're playing Kentucky. We got to learn how to continue to be consistent with our approach.
And Coach, that's what I was going to ask you was how close do you think you guys are to putting this together? When UVA happened, you had a little break, but now it's 2 days later, you're at Texas A&M.
Yeah, but let me, I'm glad you asked that because we're acting like we just discovered the wheel today. Do you guys pay attention to Clemson basketball? Because when we beat them, the story was, well, Clemson ain't very good this year. That's why South Carolina won. I mean, some of the people that had that opinion might want to revisit what they put out there. They might want to kind of hit the rewind button and kind of like rewrite that story. Going into Clemson and winning was hard because Brad does an incredible job and they're good. And then following that up with a win at Virginia, I get the fact that Virginia's lost a couple games. How many people score 70 at them at Virginia? So, we're doing things the right way. We had a stinker, an absolute embarrassing game against Stetson. I wish I could have left the bench that game. Okay? That's how embarrassed I was. But you know what? They're kids, man. They're going to have bad days. It's just part of the world we live in. And when they have bad days, I got hired here to make sure I make them understand that in life, when you have bad days, you get fired. They don't yell at you. They don't make you run. They fire you. You can't have bad days in life. You got to do your job. And that's what I think we learned that. We practiced our tails off to play Florida. We played Florida well enough to win. We didn't have the courage in that second half like we had today. And that's what Jermaine gives us. And then we went to Tennessee. We're right there. We couldn't close a deal. But we've been playing good basketball for a while. If you eliminate everyone, and I get it, man. My job's to win games. I don't ever act like I don't comprehend that or I want anyone to feel bad because we lose a close game. But internally, my job's to manage my players and make sure we're getting better. And our guys have gotten better. We haven't given in. That's why we were able to win this game today.
Frank, you may have touched on this a little bit with the Jalen answer, but I mean the offensive rebounding, especially in the second half, it looked like Jalen was really active, Frank was really active, everybody was really kind of getting to it. I know that's been an issue in past years at times. You must be pleased with the direction this is going.
No doubt. And Wildens gives us an offensive. Wildens they just attacked them on defense. Every time I put them in, Cal went right at him and put him on skates, and he he struggled today. But Wildens also gives us a personality at the rim. Keyshawn, I've been all over Keyshawn. Keyshawn's learning how to become a basketball player. He's always been an athlete. He's never been a basketball player. And I've been telling Keyshawn, like, Key, you can't just stand outside the three and watch, man. God blessed you with an athleticism that not too many people have. When we run offense and shoot, you got to go. He's learning. You know, he's not there yet, but he's learning how to get on the glass. And Justin, that's why I'm so happy that Justin did what he did in the second half, because he works his tail off. He's a great teammate. He gives us courage with his energy and enthusiasm, but he gets on the glass. And, you know, little by little, we just, you know, Pete, I don't like passive in anything. The only time I like passive is when I go fishing and I get pissed when the fish don't bite. So that, you know, that's why I don't go. Pretty simple. So I like aggression. And I think this team, as we continue to go, the season's a roller coaster. And it's not, too many people like pass judgment after every day. We in that room, we're not worried about that up and down stuff that everybody else wants to, that ride everybody wants to be on. We signed up to play 31 games. Our job is to be the best team that we can be when we play game 31. I think we're starting to figure that part out. We're getting on the glass, we're running, we're being aggressive, and for us to be good, we have to do that.
A couple of things for you, Frank. Just housekeeping matter. Was Jair available tonight for you?
Yeah, he was.
Okay. And Keyshawn had several follow-up dunks. You just mentioned him a minute ago, but he had the one-hander follow-up with about 13 minutes left, cut the lead to single digits at that time. It really seemed to be a little bit of a momentum shift there. Did you get a sense at all? And the crowd seemed to be a real factor today too.
No doubt, no doubt. You know, I wish our crowd, and I get it, man. We've lost some hard games here at home this year, and we've had a stinkeroo. I wish our crowd understood that that's what we need every time we play at home. Whoever we play, that's what we need. We all can't just get excited when Kentucky rolls into town. The crowd was phenomenal. That crowd gave us courage to go win the game today. It gave our players enthusiasm and confidence that, yo, there's a lot of people here fighting for us. We got to fight a little harder. That's part of the home court environment. Keyshawn, like in the first half, he tried to overdrive the ball and tripped on his own feet, and then he got hit and fumbled the ball. But he's trying to make aggressive plays. And that, I keep telling you, keep going, man. Don't stop. If you're going to have the courage to go, now be strong. You can't let them knock the ball out of your hands. But we need somebody to go make those plays, and he's making them. He made some great – last year he wouldn't do it. Like we went to our spread kind of ball screen stuff, and he made some incredible cuts off the ball, like unbelievable. Not just because he cut fast, he cut at the right time. Because sometimes you cut, but the guy's not ready to pass, so you wasted your energy. He made great cuts, and we found him, and he made plays, and then he had that second half dunk that along with Jermaine, I think gave us tremendous courage to go make one more play, and we ended up winning.
Against Florida, you said Mike was the only one that could finish at the rim for you guys. Mm-hmm. Against Tennessee, you had guys that drove there, but they just didn't finish, and today it obviously culminated. What's been the change the last week in guys getting to the rim?
Our best dribble driver of the basketball is Jermaine Cousinard, and we didn't have him against Florida. And and it's not just that he drives to get shots. He drives and he sees the help and he makes the next pass. He's the best decision maker in that respect on our team. We just got to keep working at it, man. We got to make our players better. They didn't hire me here because I got a magic wand. They hired me here because I work really hard at helping people get better. And we got young guards. And I think all you guys have been covering my team for the last 7.5 years. You can say a lot of things, and you're probably right on every one of them, but the one thing nobody can ever say is that my players don't get better. I take tremendous pride in that. My staff takes tremendous pride in that. So as our guys stay with us, they keep getting better. And their competitive edge, I can't help people with their competitive edge. That's got to come from you. If I got to yell at you to compete, then I'm wasting my time. Their competitive edge has to come with them. But then it's my job when they're here to help teach them how to play and keep challenging them to grow. Young kids are too caught up in the YouTube moment. So everyone wants to talk about Keyshawn's dunk, big time. You know what I'm looking at? All his cuts in the second half, because he's not a great shooter. So teams don't get out and guard him. So when we put people in spread offense, which is what I've been talking about, you got to make timely cuts. Well, he made 2 big-time cuts. One time TJ found them, and the other one, Alonzo Frank found them for a dunk. Those are big-time plays by Keyshawn. That's growth as a basketball player. So I got to keep doing my job, not treat these kids like we lost a game, like they're lepers and, can't stand them, I hate them, and we're not any good. No, man, we brought these kids here. We're going to fight for them, and they're going to fight for us, and one day at a time, we'll keep growing. And, not too many people say they made a Final Four run. Well, we did it with guys that believed and grew. We're going to do the same thing with these guys. We're going to keep fighting and grow and see how good we can be one day. Thank you.